Congress Party General Secretary Keshav Rao is joining us from Hyderabad on this debate tonight. Meenakshi Lekhi represents the BJP point of view. Kumar Ketkar, Chief Editor of Daily Divya Marathi of the Bhaskar Group. My first question is to Pawan Kumar Verma. I think this panel is evenly divided. Now, Pawan Kumar Verma is advisor to the Chief Minister of Bihar, Nitish Kumar. Mr. Verma, good evening. I just want to be sure.
Good evening.
Please don't take it otherwise, but I want to be sure that the concerns that are being expressed by Mr. Nitish Kumar, by the BJP and all the other parties are not basically political concerns, turf battles, rather than genuine concerns. Because Nitish Kumar, in a letter to the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, in February 2012 said that under the NCTC, the Intelligence Bureau with no accountability to Parliament was flawed. Now, Mr. Verma, the government has reworked that proposal, even Meenakshi will agree with me, and has brought the NCTC under the Home Ministry and is therefore accountable to Parliament. So, basic reason why Nitish Kumar was opposed to NCTC is gone. Why is he still opposing it?
No, I think, Arnab, I need to clarify. No one can oppose an effective national response to terrorism, and certainly not a person like Nitish Kumar, who gave law and order the first priority in the state of Bihar, and the results are verifiable. When the proposal came up, he raised a concern about the question of structure, the question of accountability, the question of powers, the question of jurisdiction. There were flaws in the way the proposal was put forward. He said that this is not a question of center versus state. It is a national issue, but the manner in which a proposal of this nature should be presented should involve cooperation with the states so that these issues are resolved.
So, but the issue has been resolved, hasn't it?
About the IB in particular, if you want to know about the IB in particular, Arnab, you do know that the proposal as originally presented had a deputy director in IB heading the NCTC.
I am telling
Where is the
I agree, but it's gone.
And as far as the powers go, there were powers of seizure, search and warrant and arrest. Where they raise serious issues of jurisdiction.
So I know. I know your objection. The primary objection was about the NCTC being placed under the Intelligence Bureau, and the Intelligence Bureau is basically designed to tasked to carry out covert executive action, and you had concerns about that. But the government took it away. The government changed that.
Now that the government has taken it away, and the former Home Minister mooted the idea of working out standard operating procedures, SOPs, I think it's time to consult the states, but do it in a manner which respects the sensitivities of state. Use the anti-terrorism squads in the states, embed them in the state police, have a process of consultation, because this is a sensitive matter. Arnab, you will understand that if presented hastily or not sufficiently worked out, there can be gross misuse.
Let's get a couple of points of view. Let's get Keshav Rao of the Congress first, then I'm coming to you. Keshav Rao, discuss it. Don't impose it on state governments like this. There is an obvious problem of trust that is emerging here now.
To start with, I'm no more General Secretary. Now, the question
You're a senior Congress leader. Yes, please continue.
We all of us, yeah, it is all right. But the question is, no one today is denying about the need for a joint onslaught on terrorism. Over. Now, all that what I could see from the Bihar's point of view is, initially when we really were finalized the model, we did not consult, or they did not take on the board all the respective states. Well, this is their allegation. Now, second comes, what they are saying is the clubbing of the NCTC with IB, with the right to arrest or right to seizures and whatever it is. They have their own apprehensions, but as the Bihar friend has very rightly said, it is time we rework out this and see that there is an understanding, because after the Hyderabad, I'm telling you, I can give the example to them about Hyderabad. The moment the NIA came, NSG came, when this coordination started, within 2 days, they could track down the man from Bihar, man from Nepal border, man from Calcutta, man from Bangalore, and all these things. This kind of a collection data was there. They were collating it, but there was no, they were analyzing it. There was no operational joint action.
Sir.
So this kind of a thing perhaps would be available once you have some agency, but at the same time, the appraisal.
Sir, you objected to POTA. Sir, you also, you objected to POTA.
Yes,
you called it, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, you called it absolutely draconian. And then you repealed it after you came into power.
I still hold that. No,
right?
Mr. Anar, I still hold that stand. That is why I said, whenever we are working on things like this, as things change, as total strategies change, we need to take the opposition and their apprehensions into.
Sir, soon after 26/11, let me not remind you, after 26/11, you amended the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and you brought back all the clauses of POTA except two. After you repealed POTA, you said your approach to terror was preemptive. In other words, you have no standard policy in fighting terror, Mr. Keshav Rao. There is no consistency.
That is why
there is no consistency that you have.
There have to be checks and balances. No, there have to be checks and balances, whether you have a parliamentary oversight for it or you have some kind of independent agency which will look after, evaluate the functioning of these things. It is a very serious issue. What the opposition CMs are saying, it cannot just be brushed aside. I totally agree with them. Today BJP has taken a stand. They are not per se against it. But few of the basic sensitive items which concern the constitution.
Don't be rigid.
Operational functioning of the functioning. See, they need to be done.
So basic point is don't be rigid, Meenakshi Lekhi. Don't be rigid. These laws are not so sweeping that they work against the interest of the people of India. So Arun Jaitley, for example, is questioning powers of search, seizure and arrest. You would know, and I'm sure Mr. Jaitley would also appreciate, that these powers of search, seizure and arrest will only happen in case of an urgency. In rare cases, but that leverage must be given.
No. When is the urgency going to happen? Can anyone predict with certainty?
Who will decide?
The basic objection is that this is a good concept. NCTC is a good concept, but it's a very bad design. It's a flawed design and flawed structure which is taking place. Nowhere in the world intelligence agencies are given the operational powers as decided by the present Congress government. And when you were pointing out the flaws that they retained in Unlawful Activities Act, they have retained virtually POTA except two. The policy of Congress is basically running with the hares and hunting with the hounds. So on one side they will have tie-ups with Naxals, on the other side with ULFA, and then in 26/11 they bring out NIA. NIA is doing some political work and not doing
you don't oppose NIA?
work. Now the question...
You don't oppose NIA? The NIA has similar powers.
I oppose NIA's operational capacity. In fact, NSG also has the same operational capacity. And when we are talking of NCTC, you're talking constantly. I've been hearing the model of US and UK is quoted without failure. Now, if US and UK is to be cited, please understand the model on which they work. The model on which they work is basically they have fusion centers. On those fusion centers, and 72 of them, and they are top-class analysts working there. 600 in US and 300 in UK. Now, you don't appoint all that. You don't want to do any of those things. You are asking about... Allow me to complete. You pick up officers. How is Delhi's special cell different from NIA? I think Delhi special cell was better than NIA. They countered more terrorist cases as compared to NIA. NIA has caught 2 IM operatives in 4 years, 3 years of their existence. 4 or 5 years of their existence.
Meenakshi Lekhi, you're not being objective.
How can you take away states' powers?
Nobody's taking away the states' powers.
Away from the,
nobody is taking away the states' powers. The NIA. I'm sorry, Meenakshi Lekhi. Again, I'm going to have to lock horns with you. I don't believe you are being completely, objective in this. The NIA has also got similar powers, by which it can conduct operations in any state. When there is no objection to that, why does NCTC evoke such a fierce debate? Because you are.
Who says there is no objection? Who says there is no objection?
Well, it is functioning.
Go back to 2008 when the proposal for NCTC was brought in.
Well, let's get other view. Kumar Ketkar wants to come.
was brought in. There was,
okay, 1 minute.
A specific demand by 3 committees. Allow me to complete one line. That 3 committees suggested that multitask agencies should be brought up to NCTC level. And now, instead of taking away the data and other intelligence jobs, you want them to conduct raids.
Well, I think you are.
Be, alerting
I don't know. I just am asking because I want to be completely sure that you're not picking up the issue because you think that it's going to work very well and ring a right bell among potential allies like BJD or existing allies like the JDU. Let's get Kumar Ketkar in. Kumar Ketkar is responding to the Congress to the BJP perspective.
I think the issues that are considered to be procedural are actually political. They are not in question of principle. Everybody in principle seems to be agreeing that there is necessity for NCTC, and the procedural problems are raised are actually political problems because of the fear that the Congress or the BJP might be using it for their partisan interests. So it is the fear that it will be used for partisan interests that is what stops it. I think NCTC is essential. I think is agreed by all the political parties, but they are afraid that they may be completely overwhelmed by the centers, particularly Congress, or if the BJP is in power, BJP. Actually, POTA acted the same way, and Congress opposition to POTA was in the same category, just as today's BJP is opposing the NCTC. I think there is enough space for all the parties to come together and sort out the procedural problems of NCTC. But Meenakshi Lekhi, I am not opposing you. Please, why don't you understand? I am merely saying that NCTC's procedural problems.
How is POTA similar?
No, I am not saying POTA is similar. I am actually endorsing you that opposition to POTA to a certain extent was a political problem. Similarly, the quoting of United States and UK is quite tendentious. Quoting United States and UK is quite tendentious because everybody knows in US the anti-terrorist complete intelligence is handled by the federal government. That is the US government. So what is the problem? NCTC may not be necessarily directly equivalent to what is happening in US, but it is necessary to understand that NCTC is essential. I will tell you the hyper-federalism, only one point, hyper-federalism.
What is hyper-federalism? What is hyper-federalism? We have a new phrase on the Newshour tonight. Hyper-federalism. Yes, go on. Define hyper-federalism.
Hyper-federalism is trying to assert the so-called federal rights to such an extent that it undermines the national integrity. That is my point. Hyper-federalism has led to disintegration of Soviet Union and Yugoslavia. This we have seen in our own eyes just 20 years ago. I think hyper-federalism has to be stopped, and the unitary structure, Union Republic of India has to be maintained. NCTC can be definitely corrected with all the procedural problems.
I am amazed.
Even Meenakshi Lekhi is raising. They may be legitimate.
I am amazed.
I am amazed. Raised by
Arun
Jaitley and Meenakshi Lekhi can be understood.
I am amazed.
Can be taken care of.
I am amazed because I have heard before.
I'm going to read out what is the function of NCTC and similarly the joint operations in UK, and I'm going to read out the statement of objectives.